Well,
And Kelly's on the YouTube chat. She says, "You're welcome."
Ugh. Now, if only we had that soundbite, that would be awesome. Yeah.
You can never not say that in the Maui voice now.
That's true. Yeah. No. Yeah, I think that single-handedly is The Rock's greatest role right there, is playing Maui.
Oh, that was The Rock?
Yeah, that was.
Are you kidding? Did you see Central Intelligence with
no.
Kevin Hart?
No, didn't see that.
The cheater check Kevin Hart?
No, I never saw that.
Did you guys hear about that? About how he was like being blackmailed for cheating on his wife?
He's like, I'm not paying you nothing. I cheated on you, honey.
Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna get out in front of this.
Wow.
Guess what, baby? I cheated.
All right.
My bad.
You gotta. What do you say to that? Appreciate your honesty? I don't know. Now on to things that are less cut and dried. Are you guys familiar with this book that is being released? That was co-authored by 27. It was a consortium of 27 psychologists and mental health experts who got together and kind of threw out the rules when it comes to whether or not they should diagnose celebrities that they've never actually spoken with directly. Yeah. But they decided that when the dangers of this person outweigh, the good of upholding the oath, they said to heck with it, and they're gonna come out. They're gonna out this guy.
Sounds like a bunch of disgruntled out-of-work docs to me.
They call it the hypocritical oath for a reason, right?
I believe it's Hippocratic oath, but good one. I like that. So anyway, yeah, these 27 psychologists and mental health experts got together and wrote this book. They've titled it "The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump," and of course they sit there and discuss his mental state of mind and his ability to be effective and to be a rational leader, and it's very interesting.
To be a human being.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So they, you know what? And I forgot, by the way, we are in this segment.
Trump in the news.
I totally forgot about that. Why did you guys not?
Our one piece of production.
How come you guys weren't on me over that? But anyway, so they said they threw out terms like extreme present hedonism.
I'm not sure what that means.
Well, in layman's terms...
but to be fair, psychologists like to make up terms just because it makes them sound smart.
In layman's terms, they're saying that he lives in the moment and lacks the ability or the foresight to look at the consequences of his actions before he just does something. Which obviously speaks to the situation that is brewing with North Korea and the likelihood that he might actually just push the button because he's not thinking about what happens after you push the button.
Because he does that all the time with his Twitter feed.
Apparently, yeah.
Doesn't pay attention.
And like in my brain, when I see him doing this, I picture him saying, "You're fired," and hitting the button.
Like when he sends out a tweet?
Yeah.
You're fired.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, the way he has handled the situation with Kim Jong-un, and basically the fact that, again, forgive me for using the image there of the way he likes to push Kim Jong-un's buttons. He just keeps throwing more things out there, and so there's this serious concern that he does not, or not only does not, but actually lacks the ability to look any farther in the future than what's really right under his nose.
Yeah, because when you really think about what is at stake when you're poking that bear,
I
mean, you really have to think twice about throwing around the Rocket Man jabs.
Well, you know what? I still like the Rocket Man thing. I'm going to give him props on that one. I mean, that was pretty funny.
It's good, but is it worth it?
Oh, I guess only time's gonna tell. It depends on who pushes the button first. I guess if we're just kind of sitting in a crater afterward and doing this from underground in some bomb shelter back at Area 50 something, I might rethink whether it was a good idea.
I don't know. I'm kind of wondering because, like, Joe, when the whole Kim Jong-un thing first came down, you're like, yeah, I agree with Trump on this one. Push the button, turn into a parking lot. And now you're like, oh, he's a hedonistic, blah, blah, blah.
No,
blah, blah, blah.
I didn't say that. This is what the 27 psychologists and mental health experts said. That's not me. I was not one of those 27, by the way. I was waiting for you to make some kind of comment on the 28th. Like 27 out of 28.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know. I take issue anytime people start throwing around any kind of mental diagnoses,
So
because a lot of people use them as a crutch. And I'm not necessarily saying they are wrong, but I'm not going to go as far as to say they're right. It's just I think that a lot of times people want to jump to these conclusions based on how they feel and their own emotional instability rather than actually, having something to back it up, which is part of the whole discussion that psychologists are having about them having written the book.
Okay. Well, see now, in another interesting term that they used to describe him, they suggested that he suffers from narcissistic personality disorder. Which again, going back to this, your layman's terms, Todd, they break it down as he believes that he's better than everybody else. He literally just walks around all day going, I'm smarter than you, I'm better than you, you're fired.
I'm the best. I'm the best.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he said as much.
Yeah. Why are we acting surprised by this?
Yeah.
And then here's the other thing, because isn't that what people typically look for in a leader? They look for the bravado. They look for the over the top. It's particularly today. Nobody's looking for that humble guy. Otherwise, we would have.
Well, you make a
Burned
very
as the
convincing argument. See, and here is another interesting analysis that was made in the book. I'm not done, by the way, with the things that they have attributed to his personality disorders. But
And when you say book,
Mhm.
how much are they actually writing about this?
there's a book. Apparently, I don't have no idea how many pages this book is, but there is a book.
You can buy it on Amazon. I can see
And
that.
here's the thing. They raise the interesting question, who's really the one that's more crazy? Is it Trump? Or is it the American peoples for having elected him? What does it say about our society as a whole that this man catapulted himself to the top of the roster?
That this guy who says one thing 1 second and then a completely different thing another second, whatever it is that happens to be most beneficial for him at the moment, he's going to go ahead and tell people that. He just tells people whatever they
don't
want to
all
hear for the most
politicians
part.
do
I mean,
this?
come on, the double speak is pretty much what every
But-
that's rule
He's
number
just
one
the
in the
best
political
at it.
handbook.
That's
isn't it?
No, he's just much
the-
less.
He's more aggressive and more
He's
blunt
more
about it.
transparent about it, I feel like.
Well, interestingly enough, they also described him very, very plainly and simply as a bully. They compare him to the schoolyard kid that goes around shoving everybody else and taking their lunch money.
Poor Melania.
But but they went on to say that when you add the narcissistic personality disorder with the extreme hedonism and the bullying, when you combine all of those things together, you get a quote unquote impulsive, immature, incompetent person who, when in the position of ultimate power, easily slides into the role of a tyrant.
You know what? That sounds like that episode of The Twilight Zone with the kid who trapped all the people in like that little world and would turn them into toys when they didn't
Oh,
know
yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah.
He would like
that's-
snap his fingers and the guy would end up in a cornfield.
Exactly. I can't think of that kid's name, but it's interesting
I
that
think his
you
name
say
was
that.
Donald.
But see, now here's it might be. See, now here's the interesting thing. We've got these 27 mental health experts that are psychoanalyzing Trump. But if you think about it, aren't they not painting exactly the same picture of the guy leading North Korea right now?
Well, I mean, everybody's already established that they're tyrants, and I'm a firm believer that all leaders, all modern leaders specifically, have to have a little bit of pathology just to even want to do that job.
Well, but see, putting these guys together, this is like the ultimate cage match. We are about to find out what happens when the irresistible
political
force
battles of
meets the
history.
immovable object. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, we've got the worst case scenario brewing now.
Or it could just be those two kids who keep pushing each other and walking in a circle on the playground.
Come at me, bro.
That's true too. I suppose that again, we're going to find out what happens when the irresistible force meets the immovable object.
Let's just put him in a cage. Cage match.
Fight to the death. I
yeah,
mean,
have the two of them fight it out, and then we'll really see who's better.